All right, we are ready to use our plaster gauze to add our outer layer to our paint tube project. So I've got my paint tube here, I've got some water in this tub here, and I've got my gauze sheets kind of cut into smaller rectangles or squares to make them more manageable to use. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one square at a time, dunk it, get it all the way wet into the water, and I'm gonna lay it on top of my paint tube, okay? Then I'm gonna work with my fingers, just rubbing it in. See how those, the texture starts to disappear? The reason I do that is it will be much easier for me to paint this when it's dry than if I were to leave all that texture there. So I'm gonna rub it around, okay? So my goal is to get every inch of this surface covered, okay? Including the top, including the bottom, everything. So I'm gonna dunk some more pieces. Now down here, I want to kind of make sure that I still have that texture. See that lip there? That's what's gonna make my paint tube really look like a paint tube. So I don't wanna layer it up too thick that I lose that edge that we've created by folding it over. Okay, all those little details are what's gonna help our sculpture really look like what we're making, little art supplies. Okay, so just keep dunking and laying it over. And I'm always trying to smooth it out before I get my next piece because it does kind of dry quick. And if I let it dry, I won't be able to go back and smooth it out. It starts to get ruined. Okay, so I'm working kind of quickly. I can always come back, dip my finger in the water to add a little more moisture to it. Okay, flip it over. And I don't really need it to be too many layers thick, probably 2 at the most, because it'll start to get really wet, soggy, and heavy if I do too many. Dunk my next piece. Hold that, filling in all the holes. Make sure I got the edge. I don't want to leave any openings because that will prevent me from painting it. Like right now I can start to feel my toilet paper tube underneath. It's starting to kind of collapse because it's getting wet. So I need to hurry up and finish. All right, so I need probably a nice big one to drape right over the top. And I don't want to lose any of that detail there, so I want to make sure I push this down. It's pretty easy to kind of work with and make it mold it the way I want. Notice I'm not getting it too wet because I don't want my cardboard tube to collapse underneath because that would defeat all of my work, wouldn't it? I would probably have to start over. So I'm just getting it as wet as it needs to be. And I need one more right here. I can tell that I don't have any right there. Let's drape this over here. And this is going to be perfect for me to paint to make it look like a paint tube. And this will become very hard once it dries. Just smoothing it out. So even all these ridges, like that ridge, let's try and get it as smooth as we can. And I can see right here all this texture. I'm gonna add, see if I can find like a smaller piece because that's gonna be hard for me to paint. So I'm actually gonna try and cover that up. Still trying to have my little lip there. And then I'll flip it over onto this side. Excuse me. All right, I think I'm about done. So then I'll have to let this dry for, oh geez, at least a week probably to really ensure that it's dry so that we can paint it and add our details. Okay, make sure your top's nice and filled in. Add a little water to it. All right, and there you have it. So I'm going to let this dry, and then next week when I come in, I'll be able to paint it. And I'm going to figure out what color I want my paint tube to be. All right, see you next time.